In the application of the thermal insulation system, the preparation of the support is fundamental. If the surfaces to be treated are not cohesive and reveal slight pulverizing, they must be strengthened with atomo, the micronized wall fixative in the solvent-free line, to be diluted from 50 to 300% with water depending on the degree of absorption of the support. Subsequently, the starting apply a bar drain profile, fixing them to the masonry by means of expansion plugs. These are to be applied at minimum 1 centimeter from thread surface in order to allow the entire system to remain insulated from possible water stagnation. In the thermal insulation system, when necessary, it is possible to insert the side and upper closing sections bar, which will seal in the surface. EPS, expanded polystyrene sheets, are applied using Marcoterm adhesivo glue, which should also be used for the subsequent plastering of the same sheets. There are 2 gluing systems, for spots or on the whole of the sheet, provided that the surface covered with glue is 50% at the minimum. In both cases, it is however important to leave at least a couple of centimeters free at the edges of the panel, so that the glue does not brim over in the stages when the sheet is flattened against the support. In this way, the panel will be perfectly in contact with the next one, and formation of the thermal way out will be prevented. When the gluing is done by spots, it is however advisable to apply the glue along the edge of the sheet, creating a sucker effect. This tactic will give the sheet support system the utmost stability. In order to ensure maximum stress resistance, the sheets must be applied in a staggered manner, as for herringbone masonry and corners. To level sheets superficially, removing possible steps between them, it is possible to proceed by striking them with a screed board and checking for any depressions or linearity. If gaps persist during the gluing of the panels, they must be fixed using the same insulating material and must never be filled with adhesive. Otherwise, they will create pathways for the dispersion of heat. If expansion joints are present in the sub-base, e.g. on concrete, in correspondence with these elements it is necessary to insert Marcoterm giunto di dilatazione equipped with reinforced net, which should be glued to the EPS sheets. This latter operation is carried out first by spreading a layer of glue, then submerging the net inside it, and lastly by further plastering with Marcoterm adhesivo. Below windowsill drain bars are also available to place below the window vent surfaces. After leveling of EPS sheets, the nailing of the thermal insulation system is carried out by drilling the panels and the wall and penetrating at least 3 centimeters inside the latter in such a way as to ensure the anchoring of the expansion plug. In the macrotherm system, the nail of the expansion plug should be driven in as soon as the sheets have been positioned and drilled, in such a way as to ensure the stability of the paneling until the glue has set. On the other hand, the nail must be inserted at least 1 day later. It is important that once applied, the whole nail anchor system does not extend beyond the flat surface of the insulation panel, so as not to compromise the further plastering and finishing coats. The nailing plan of the macrotherm system always provide for the presence of expansion plugs in the corners of facades, while the number of nails on the entire facade will increase in accordance with the height of the building. For the application of the angle bar, spread a layer of Marcotherm adhesivo on both sides of the corner to be coated, and position Marcotherm paraspigolo, submerging both sides of the bands of the net with which it is supplied in the glue. When the glue has set, apply a further layer of plaster. The second procedure is to be carried out on all the building's vents, positioning a band of Marcotherm rete net of 25 by 50 centimeters at minimum at 45 degrees on the corners, in order to reduce possible movement in the critical points of the structure. When the fixing operation of the paneling and accessories are complete, the plastering of the entire surface is begun. Apply a layer of Marcotherm adhesivo to the surface to be treated using a metal spatula. Then spread the Marcotherm rete alkali-resistant coat net downwards. Take care to overlap the canvases by at least 10 centimeters to give the finished system maximum stability. Subsequently, press the steel spatula against the net spread on the surface, submerging it in the glue. When the glue has dried, spread a further layer of Marcotherm adhesivo in such a way as to completely cover the reinforcement net, which must no longer be visible once plastered. Wait for the complete drying and aging of the plaster, which under optimal temperature and humidity conditions will take approximately 10 days. It is then possible to continue with the fixing of the surfaces to equalize the absorption of the support using Marcotherm primer, a white pigmented wall fixative to be diluted from 50 to 100% with water and applied with a roller or brush. The product can be tinted with 4% maximum pigment. When the fixative has been dried, after at least 6 hours, a thick acrylic covering, Marcotherm, or acryl silosanic covering, Marcotherm Sil, is applied using the plastic float and smoothing it out before it starts to dry on the surface. Thanks to their great filling and masking powers, Marcotherm coverings are also suitable for surfaces such as plaster, concrete, and old organic or mineral paints and coverings, providing they are thick. These finishes create a protective layer which is free from cracks, has good breathability and is able to protect the support effectively from atmospheric agents and pollutants. Thanks to the presence of a specific additive, they protect the treated surfaces from the formation of mold, algae and moss. In addition, Marco-Termsil acryl cellosanic binder-based coverings give surfaces strong hydrophobic properties, which encourage the rainwater to run off and therefore help to keep walls clean. The Marco-Term system improves housing comfort and cuts heating costs. The CE mark guarantees quality and compliance with the regulations in force. The system can be insured with a 10-year policy.